please. Yeah. So these are the meeting guidelines. Mute your mic, but keep the video on. When it's your turn, you can unmute and speak. Use the chat box for exchange of greetings now, but during the session, use it for giving your observations or raising a question. When you raise a question, type capital Q. So that will attract the attention of the panelist and the moderator. And this is simple, like organizers have a right to remove somebody. We don't have to remove anybody. That's only when somebody is unsafe. That doesn't happen normally. So with that, so we will go and request the chairman of ISTD Delhi chapter, Mr. Mukesh Jain, to say a few words. That is his welcome address. Mr. Jain.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. A very good evening, friends. I, on behalf of Management Committee of ISTD Delhi chapter, welcome you all to this roundtable on a very important topic, talent development, renewed perspectives. Our panelists are Mr. Chandan Chadraj, President Human Resource at UFlex Group, Mr. S.K. Bose, EDHR IOCL, Mr. Pradhuman Pandey, CHRO Mother Dairy, Ms. Harpreet Datta, Corporate HR GMR Group, Mr. V.M. Bansal, retired IAS Chairman, New Delhi Institute of Management, Dr. S. Chaturvedi, Director BIMTech, Ms. Preetha Datta, co-owner and director, Empower Pragati and NSDC partner company, Mr. Arjun Khanna, Vice President, Client Engagement, ECAST, and our own moderator, Dr. G.P. Rao, founder Good People Relation. Friends, Indian Society for Training and Development, ISTD has celebrated its Golden Jubilee recently. ISTD maintained a large chapter network of more than 46 chapters and 8,000 institutional and individual members. The society is affiliated to IFTDO USA and RTDO Manila. ISTD conducts a PG program, diploma program in training and development, a correspondence course through distance learning of 18 months duration for the purpose of recruitment to superior posts under the central government and PSUs. Friends, during this Golden Jubilee year, ISTD is giving 50% discount in the life membership. You can enroll yourself paying less than 5,000 rupees for life membership. For more details, please log in to istd.co.in or istddaily.in. I once again welcome all our distinguished panelists, moderator, all the past national president, chapter chairperson, NC members, senior members and friends from ISTD, NIPM, NHRD, DMA, FMA, Rotary, ISTD diploma student, faculty member and student from various institutions. I wish you all for a wonderful evening and joyful weekend. Namaskar. Over to Dr. G.P. Rao.
Thank you, Mr. Jain. Nice words, and you already introduced the panelists today. So, friends, we are calling it a round table. Means everybody can participate from wherever you are. We are sitting in a circle at different places, somebody in the office, somebody at home. So all of us will participate and make a circle. And we'll all point out toward the center. At the center, no, please don't change anything. Okay, no, just wait. Wait. So be at your place only. So look at the center. At the center, that is something called talent development. So we'll all focus on the talent development. The faculty will talk about it. The audience will raise issues around it. They may reconfirm some of their thoughts, unlearn a few things, learn a few things, share a few things. So all of us will be at different places, but look at one, that corner is talent development. That is the purpose. What are the new perspectives? What are new things happening? Are there any challenges? If there are challenges, how do you cope with us? What will the future like? This all will do. To do this, we have got a very high-powered panel like Mr. Mukesh Jain has just introduced. 4 people are from the corporate, 2 are from the academic, 2 are from the learning and skill development companies. So I will introduce each one of them very quickly and then go to the session. During the session, there is a lot of interaction with the audience, so please be prepared to participate. Okay, with that, I'll start with introducing our panelists one after the other, but very quick one. Chandan Chatras. Yeah, next slide, please. Chandan is President Human Resource Eflex. He's a long experience of 3 years. So he has worked with great companies, Oberoi, Xerox, Jubilant, Delphi, ABB, Tata Steel, and he has a lot of experience in leadership, transformation management. He's an alumnus of XIS, as everyone knows, and he has received an honorary PhD. So he's actually Dr. Chandan Chatras. He has won several awards, like Most Powerful Professional of India, HR Leadership Award, and UFlex has done several awards. One is his own awards, and he's on the board of ISBM Pune, Purnima University Jaipur, MET, and he's actively involved in social and charitable. He does beyond business. So that's how he's known as, and somebody has called him Cool Chandan Chatras. His new name is Triple C. With that, thank you, Chandan. Welcome to you. Next is SK Bose. He's the Executive Director HR IOC. He has earlier worked in Panipat Refinery, this is a flagship refinery, and he has worked in the petrochemical project. He worked as General Manager HRD, Management Services Training in Pipeline Division. The long experience of 35 years, and he is in the corporate office. And he's a member of the FICCI Energy Management Study Tour to Canada. He attended advanced programs, many programs. For example, this ASCII Hyderabad, the Italy program. He is the convener of L&D group of HR task force constituted with the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. He is very, very active in professional bodies, and he does concrete work, and he is associated with professional bodies and the academic institutes. Welcome to you, Mr. Bose. Next, please. Next is Pradyuman Pandey. Don't go by the size of the CV. He has a very, very rich experience, but he talks very precise, focused, concise. He has 29 years of experience. Currently, he is the CHR of the Mother Dairy. He is a keen strategist with a flair for designing and implementing innovative HRD practices, strategies, OD interventions. And he has working experience both Indian and multinational company, both like you see the companies, ACC, Holcim, DCM, Sriram, Take Tire, CBL Pro, Torrent, Pharma in HRM. So wonderful to have you, Pradyuman. Welcome to you. Next, please. Harpreet Datta. She is the head COE, Center of Excellence of Talent Acquisition and Management, JMR Group. She is a product of SRCC. Her talent pipeline is her area. She is the right person for this topic more than anyone else. She headed HR in SMS, CPM, ABC, WWIL, that is the G Network company, Fortis, Terry, and Princeton Review. For her foundation years was the public sector. You see the combination of experience. She was with EIL, and she values institution building, working with people. She enjoys reading, music, dance, cooking, and company of friends. Welcome, Harpreet. Okay. We'll move on. We'll introduce, I'll go a little slow. So, it was a tough writing his CV in one piece. He's a former IAS, civil servant, longest serving secretary, commissioner, principal commissioner, director of India's biggest statutory urban DDA government of 28 years, headed several PSU undertakings in Punjab. So he had a corporate experience while he was in the administrative service. So he was advised to Lieutenant Governor at the time of Commonwealth Games. Can imagine his administrative experience. Co-chairman and chairman of Education Committee of PhD Chamber of Commerce for last 4 years, and he is special invitee at FICCI and ASSOCHAM. He is the president of the Alumni Association of 58 years old Sainik School Rewa. So you see the background from Sainik School and 50-year-old NIT Kurukshetra. Welcome to Mr. Bansal. So it's a rich value addition to us. Next is one more veteran in the academic industry, Dr. Chaturvedi, Director BIMTech. He's also the Executive President of EPSI India. He worked with AICTE. So it's the government body for the technical education. He is a PhD in business management. He has several recognitions, awards. He is associated with the Education Promotion Society, as I said, since its inception. He is associated with NHRDN, UNGCN, AIMS, AIMA, all professional bodies. He's a great supporter to the industry bodies and trade bodies and the corporate. He's a member of Board of Governors, several prominent universities. He has authored, edited several books, in fact, more than 5 books. He's the director of Birla Institute of Management Technology, Greater Noida since 1999. So welcome, Dr. Chaturvedi. Next is Arjun Khanna. So name signifies. He is Arjun. So he's the VP Client Engagement to Adcast. It's a new wave company. Part of that, he's in the leadership team. He leads large-scale strategic client engagements. He leads Future Skills Prime, an industry-led government-approved skilling ecosystem. This initiative is focused on the future of work. He has got 20 plus years in consulting, business HR, entrepreneurship. In his previous consulting avatar, he worked with A.T. Kearney, Avon, Hewitt, Mercer, and KPMG. He has co-created talent solutions with MNCs, Indian Business House, MSMECs, served as head of HR at India's national skill body, NSDC. That's a very important part of his rich CV. Welcome, Arjun. Moving on, last but not the least, Preeta Dutt. With great difficulty, we got her old photograph. So worked as she never she's a karma yogini. She only works. She never believes in branding. She didn't even prepare a CV. So we had to prepare one. So she's the HR. She worked as HR in Airtel, Oberoi, Paints before moving to the development sector. So it's now 15 years in the development sector. A co-owner of Empower Pragati, an NSDC partner, CEO Empower Foundation. She's a board member of ASTP, that is Alliance of Skill Training Partners. She's alumni of XLRI Jamshedpur and MA Extension and Development. So right from the beginning, she was in the social sector. You just see MA Extension and Development from IGNOU, advisory board member of the Social Solutions, independent director DIC. She's a guest faculty with various business schools like IIM Bangalore, IIM Vizag, MDI. She loves reading, writing, counseling, interest in bird watching, travel, classical Indian dance, and theater. Welcome, Preeta. So these are our 8 veterans, 8 experts, talent development lovers. So what we do with them is we will ask a few questions to them. So they will share their own experiences. That means the experience of their own. And they also know experiences. That is the experiences known. So both own and known, they will share with us on this subject called talent development. We have a format where we'll go to the audience and get their pulse. And we'll also leave room for the Q&A. So we'll go very, very fast. So the questions will be fast, the answers will be fast, so that we'll spend more time and cover everything. So as promised, we will not move ahead unless we talk to the audience. Okay. So let us have audience pulse. What do you expect from this session? Arjun, let's understand from the audience.
Can everyone?
Yes, Arjun.
Everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, just 1 second. Let me minimize. All right. So as a first step, would I request everyone to pick up their phones and go to menti.com, menti.com. You will be asked to enter a code. Please enter the following code 5762361. So I'll repeat the instructions. Please pick up your phones, go to your browser, go to menti.com, menti.com, enter the code 5762361. The instructions are at the top as well. And when you reach there, there you will see a thumbs up sign. Please do click on that, and that's how we know how many people there are.
Oh, they've started. People are already started giving answers. Talent development renewed pursuit. Let's hear from you. Okay. So what is the question asked to them?
Yeah, we'll just move on to the question. Just
please.
Give us another 10 seconds and we will.
No, you know why I'm in a hurry? Because I don't want to lose Sanjay Bose insights.
Absolutely.
He has to go at 6 o'clock for a very important assignment.
Okay. So the first question is, what do you expect to learn from today's session?
So what a privilege. You can write anything you want.
Yeah, and ideally put it in 1 word or max 2 words, and we'll see, what is going.
Okay. 1 word, 2 words. Yeah. What do you want? What do you expect from today's session? Okay. Don't write a line, but very good. Wonderful. Great question. Ah, oh, somebody wants to do talent development. Okay. Good, good. So one thing I can tell you, Arjun. So the new talent has to be digital. Now, unless I know I got a phone, I am Mentimeter, I know how to do it fast, then I can't participate. Okay, so so talent development started.
Okay, so let's see what people are saying.
Ah,
Talent development seems to be the trending topic. Experiences of experts, industrial competencies, new paradigm, post-COVID trends, unlearn and relearn.
very good.
What are the hindrances in talent development?
Hindrances. Ah.
Futuristic talent, what's next for jobs?
Mm.
All right, so we have inputs from about 20 people. Let's move back to the session. Thank you so much. And please do stay on this page. We'll keep asking
Okay.
throughout the
So
session.
21 people participated. So the challenge to the participant is in the next round, at least 40 people should participate. We have to beat Arjun. You can't say only 22 people have participated. Next time we'll do it 40. Okay, we'll move ahead. Thank you for those inputs. So I will go to the corporate panel consisting of Chandan, Sanjay Bose, Harpreet and Pradyuman. Okay. My question to you is a common question. After pandemic, after all this has happened, new normal, rejuvenation, all that is happening, we come to know that a lot of roles are changing. And also in the existing role, a lot of competencies, skill sets are changing. And if this is true, where they are changing, some experiences, some information, and how are you coping with this? This is a very common question to all. Mr. Bose, you want to start?
Yeah, thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Good evening to all of you. Good evening to my panelists. It's a privilege to be here. First of all, as you said, the roles are changing. I would say roles are changing, but not all roles. It is just a pre-pandemic condition. As far as oil sector is considered, we are in the pre-COVID level. Our productions are there throughout that pandemic period because we are in the essential service category and we continue to serve the nation, and the roles were the same. But having said that, the skill set will definitely change. Before pandemic, I am admitting that I don't know how to unmute and mute a Zoom in a Zoom platform. Today I know it, I'm comfortable. If you see that during pandemic, a lot of use of technology. Technology will drive the industry definitely, and those who are not adopting the technology will be difficult to survive or sustain in the business. Indian Oil, as far as we are considered, we are a technology company also, because all our platforms and we are into CRM platform, we have all the customers activities, and so we switched over during the pandemic, we switched over to work from home wherever possible. But mostly during the pandemic, 80% of our workforce were in the field. So the skill set will certainly change because the future business will be different. Let me give an example. The students who are in the college or school right now, after 5 to 10 years, when they go to the industry, there will be different set of work for them. The roles will be different, the skill set will be different, the competence will be different, because you see the lot of machine learning, AI that will come into picture, and the other behavioral competency will also change. I will come to that, the leadership competency. When you talk about the changing scenario, which is very fast changing, particularly the responsibility is technology. The technology, unless you adapt to the technology, the newer technology, which is changing in a very fast speed, I can say it's accelerating. That is deciding the company's growth. Unless we change, we adapt quickly, we cannot survive or sustain or grow. So what's happening today, we saw that if you see the financial positions of all tech companies they are really growing and doing well. So in order to sustain that, the new generation workforce need to adapt, quickly relearn and reskill themselves. Even the workforce presently who are there, they need to reskill also to get adjusted to do that. One important thing as far as the leadership competency are required. The other day I invited Mr. Our AIMS director, Mr. Randeep Guleria, to our Indian Oil, being a panelist. He delivered a good lecture about the post-pandemic and the vaccination. When talked about the leadership competency, he said 6 points. One need to be very calm, confident, communicative, collaborative, and very compassionate, and need cash. Because cash is very important in the new generation business. Unless you have cash, you cannot run the business. So your if you see the business, I mean leadership competency, one need to have very authentic communication. Then the financial and business acumen should be there for the new leaders, and they need to be very caring and compassionate. We have seen a lot of collaboration and teaming by the leaders during the pandemic, and that will continue post-pandemic also. So new generation leader have to have not only skilling in the technology front, but also in the leadership front, leadership competency, that will also change. One more important thing, let me tell you, is that technology, though it will drive the business, but it is the talent who will drive the business. It is not the technology alone. Because if you see in an industry like us, the machine, every machine, behind the machine, a man is there. Man will drive the machine. Because similarly, I believe that the talent will drive the economy, not the technology.
Okay.
So with this competency
Great.
and the skilling will definitely change.
Great. Suppose you have to tell me one thing, like you said, no, technology, being technical is a skill, is a competency. In the leadership, which one you think it is now something new? I mean, not totally new, but it's more of the less.
It is a digital mindset.
Digital mindset. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a
Unless
great
you
thing.
have a
Thank
digital
you.
mindset, you cannot compete.
Great. So we'll move to Chandan. Chandan is an MNC. So they have got operations in India and abroad. So then no, so they're in a different kind of business, they are into it. So Chandan, the same thing from your perspective, what roles changing, what skills changing, and if they're changing, how are you coping?
Right. So thank you, GP Garu, and good evening to everybody once again. I will first give a quick brief about what UFlex is all about. So UFlex today operates in 8 countries. We are into 7 businesses. People believe that we are a flexible packaging company, but that's just one of our businesses. We are in films, we are in flexible packaging, we are in liquid packaging, we are in holographic engineering machines, chemicals, and what we call cylinders business. We are also into another business which we call food. We have a very signature product. We call it Flex Foods, which operates out of Dehradun. The first comment I want to make, Sanjay made a very important comment, and he said that, to do everything that you want to do, you need cash. And just to give a little bit of figures about our organization, year on year, we have grown about 19.2%. EBITDA, we have improved by 69.6%. And net profit, we have improved by 136%. So this will give you a little bit of an understanding that how we have performed between last September and this September. Having said that, we are also an essential services company. So between last year and this year, and during the COVID period, we have just lost one day. But except that, we have operated on all days without a single loss of production. The question, how roles are changing? In fact, the COVID period made us understand how roles can actually change without even you being realizing that roles are changing. And that was because since we are a continuous operation, there were situations during the periods where we did not have the right person for the right job, but still we had to run the machine. We had to run the operation. We had to run the dispatch, and all that happened. But to specifically make you understand how roles are changing, and don't take it only from a COVID perspective. COVID is a great disruption, And I think that has taught us how to handle disruptions and crisis. But having said that, to give you an actual case, you see, we have just started our operations in Hungary. And if you make a comparison between how structures have changed, for that matter in India, we have a sales structure in the films business, but we typically don't have a product manager in India. The sales manager handles it all. But when it comes to Europe, and we have two operations, one in Hungary, one in Poland, we have a product manager, we have a sales manager, we have a technical services team and a marketing team. So that's how the widespread the roles have gone far. In India, a product manager from a films business will deal with the converter. Converter means somebody who does the packaging thing. But in Europe, they don't deal with the converter. He deals with the final customer. That means it could be PepsiCo, it could be Coke, it could be GSK, it could be Nestle. So the point I'm trying to make is that with a similar talent, you have roles changing from one geography to another geography. More importantly, if you ask me, what, Gauri, you had also a question for Sanjay, unless you have it for me as well, that one talent or one competency that you're talking about. And I think one competency which is extremely important in the current criteria, in the current set of things, and especially for us, since during this whole COVID period, we were setting up 3 manufacturing locations, one in Russia, one in Nigeria, and one in Hungary. And we have not lost a day anywhere in this period. And that's typically because we could handle disruption and crisis. And I think that's an unsaid rule now, that competency is extremely important in the new scheme of things. Thank you.
Oh, that's a wonderful share, wonderful experience, and a good tip. So the managing continuity, dealing in a disruptive leadership skill to manage and prevent disruptions. Wonderful, Chandan, wonderful. So we will also like to have Pradyuman and Harpreet on the same topic. Harpreet, you want to say first?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, sir, for this opportunity. It's wonderful to be here and have an interaction with all of my senior colleagues and the participants. I represent the GMR group, which is into airports, energy, transport, urban infra, SHZs, and of course, we have the fancier ones like the IPL and the other businesses around it. What we have seen in the past few months, if I would say, is there are new roles are definitely getting introduced. And we would see it in the areas of technology, data. I think that's coming in big time. Innovation is a segment that we are looking at. And we're also looking at new allied businesses, which could be completely allied to what we are, but definitely not mainstream. And this is also coming from, as all of you know, that the airports, which is a cash cow business, were shut for quite some time. And even today, the international, passenger movement has not begun. So the organization is constantly on the, reinventing itself, realigning itself to the new world reality. Yeah. So at a certain stage, it was almost about how are we going to cope with this massive impact to our business. But I think the organization has done well, has stabilized itself. Of course, there's much journey to go through, but there is clearly new areas in which work have begun. So what are we doing with this? How are we coping with this? As you said, sir, is we're doing 2 things. One, we're acquiring talent, not just from the Indian market, but globally to meet this, this need of ours. Second thing is we're upskilling our internal talent pool. Also, there has been realigning of certain roles. The cost impact has also made us relook at roles. So instead of initially it was we would go into the market to quickly pick up talent for a role. Today, we're not as quick to go to the market. What we're looking at is seeing how we can provide growth opportunities to our internal, talent pool, equally club roles, enhanced roles. So right now, as I'm talking to you, we have an IJP fair going on, online fair going on, where we have a lot of people participating. So we're giving, while this has been a constant focus to give internal talent its due place and growth opportunities, I think this the current scenarios only further enhanced our need to do that. So that's the space in which we are working. If you ask me what are the, as I said, technology, data, innovation, and new areas is the core skills. But in terms of the leadership talent pipeline, what are the skills I think we say? I think there's, I would put 2, 3 at the top. I would say cognitive flexibility, right?
Cognitive flexibility.
Yeah, the ability to think, adapt, change your thought process at a fundamental level and to recope, right? I think that flexibility is one thing I think is very important, because I think if this is the way the world is going to change, we're going to have to rewire ourselves quite often, right? I think that's one thing that would be there. I would definitely say innovation and creativity. I think it is not going to happen with the way we have been doing business. And third, I would say is clearly a very, very entrepreneurial mindset.
Wonderful.
I think
if it is not classified, what kind of skills for which we have to go global?
I would say, for example, I think technology in certain areas. Let's say, let me give you a concrete example. Let's say I was looking at bringing in some advanced security system into my airports. Okay. The talent may not be easily available within the country. We actually, there are certain roles for which we are actually looking at only talent, international talent.
Okay, thank you.
Right, so there would be niche roles like that, which would.
But wonderful, wonderful share, and new things you have shared, data, technology, the cognitive flexibility. Great. Pradyuman, your final touches to this topic, corporate, what roles are changing, what skills are changing, and how are you coping up? And you have worked in different company, MNCs, private sector. Pradyuman.
Yeah, good evening to all. I think the first fact that we have been forced to embrace technology in a faster pace, that is very clear. And therefore, the skill set, when we say digital marketing, e-commerce, or rather ability to interact with technology and also with people on social platform, they are going to filter down into every role in future. That is for sure. And when we talk about from FMCG background, I think everyone from a delivery driver upward will need to know how to use technology better. That is one. But even I was going through a report from World Economic Forum which says that many digital marketing related skills, they are listed in demand skills now. So whether it is a business owner or employee, knowing where the customer is having attention is or having the ability to capture them will be the focus for future. During pandemic, I think when we talk about production facilities, inconsistent supply of blue collar workers, I think, and that we have faced, and therefore the focus will now move to automation. And when we talk about automation, the role which HR has to play to see that the low level blue collar roles, which are slowly going to seize out, what to do with them. So this technology, if it are able to embrace, if we are able to train them, upskill them, reskill them for like plant maintenance or running the equipment, I think that will be something which we have to focus. We cannot just allow them to work on actual lines. Also, when you talk about workplace, is to expand the ability of people as well as the organization to operate at a pace in fully digital environment. Look about current technologies which are coming in, advanced technologies, like we talk about artificial intelligence, we talk about IoT, virtual augmented realities, robotics, blockchain, all these are coming. See, in order to have an edge, you can't just say that I'm comfortable around those those tools, but also you should develop skills to work with them. For all those who are targeting to be into working with the organizations, they have to develop these skills, know these tools, how to work with them. And whatever role you are in, you will definitely, when we are saying you need to be highly analytical and able to understand the data which is coming to you. And that is what is data literacy. Moving to, because we have already moved into massive digital transformation, and the ability to efficiently analyze the data and provide insight will be one of the most important skill set, which each and every employee at all levels should have to cultivate. See, knowing the right data means that you can help the organization to better predict the impact of the future business disruptions, identify business trends, customer needs, and I think that makes easy for an organization to make a business decision. And rightly talked about my all earlier speakers that expectation from leaders has changed. Organization now needs leaders who are strong, creative, who can drive innovation and agility in the organization, and who can steer the company through such turbulent times. And therefore, I will say that it is the right time to invest on managers, leaders for their coaching skills. Very important, because they need to lead a team. The coaching skills are getting important. Now the question of saying that how we are gearing up, finding, I think the most important part which when the business is getting opened up, the most important thing which is in our hand, which the focus for CHRO is that finding and hiring the right people. And when we say finding and hiring right people, the efficient and effective hiring will be continue to be important for us. And it has to be supported by like all technology, remote interview methods, how we are going to take help of those, even AI-powered tools that make easier to connect people with employment. So this is what, and the second is productivity is on top agenda for us, being an FMCG, and reskilling and multi-skilling is what is going to help us on achieving those productivity targets. Second is when we talk about digital learning, when we talk about digital learning, it is all your micro learning, your mobile learning. So we have to think how to deliver, what content we want to deliver to learners, how we track the progress. So these are some things where we need to invest now. One important thing which comes into my mind that earlier when we were working pre-pandemic, the team motivation was very important. It still remains important. But for me, I think individual motivation is much more important, needs more focus, because people are working from home, not from office. So like I will share an example where people are working on it, that they do behavioral assessment of individual employees, and they see that by which thing excites them, whether it is competition, whether it is a target, whether it is appreciation. And based on this assessment, every morning a nudge goes to them that this is what, like if he's excited with the competition, share the targets achieved by his colleagues. If he's excited by the appreciation, say something what he has done good in last day or last week. So this is how people are targeting individual motivation.
Great, Pradyuman. So wonderful share. And at one stage, I was confused whether the CHRO or the CTO. We're talking about technology, robo, AI, and all. Wonderful, great. So before I wanted to go to the audience to get their pulse also on the new age skills. Before I ask the audience whether Dr. Chaturvedi or Mr. Bansal or anyone, would you like to tell what is changing in corporate? Any information you want to share? What is changing in the corporate? Mr. Bansal or Mr. Chaturvedi, anyone wants to add something?
Both of us, Chaturvedi Sahib is senior, he has the first right.
Chaturvedi Sahib, you can use the right and say, Mr. Bansal, you speak. Anything you think you got in feedback from the corporate that these roles are changing, competence are changing? You must be getting feedback.
According to my information, according to my understanding rather, the recruiters' requirements are changing. And the face of recruiters is changing. And the recruiters themselves are changing. So this is, in short, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful say, no? You have said so much in that.
No, that's a fact. That's what we are seeing for the last 4 months.
Yeah, a lot of change.
Yeah.
Chaturvedi Sahib, you want to add anything? Sir, you have to unmute. Yeah.
I think the industries and recruiters are destined to ask a new perspective on talent development by B schools and engineering colleges. And definitely the whole context of talent development has changed. And there will be demand from the recruiters on new skill sets.
Okay.
And I will speak when my turn will come.
Yeah. So good. So you are ready. That's good. That's what. Arjun or Preeta, you want to add or you want to reserve your comments now? We'll go to the audience otherwise.
I think we'll wait for the audience. I think
Okay. So Arjun, let's go to the audience and ask them what, according to them, are the new age skills. If you know the skills, now you can develop. So let's ask the audience, new age skills.
All right.
Audience, this time, no 22 business. We have to beat Arjun. More people should participate.
So let's go on to the next question. And the next question is as follows. Just give me 1 second. I think seems to have frozen. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. So you're already there on menti.com. So
use the
the
code.
question is clear. What do you understand by new age skill? Okay, they will write. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. More people should participate. Oh, digital skill is the new age skill. Wonderful. Great. Digital knowledge. Great. Good. See, unless we tell them what are the skills that are required, they will give us edge. So how do you develop? So first identify what is required. Then academia, skill development, corporate, together will develop, government. Okay. So for a minute, he is hiding the results so that because we don't copy. So he's just hiding. Good idea, Arjun. So that no, you start thinking, no? Otherwise, Arjun bola to main bhi wahi cheez likh dunga.
Innovation and creativity.
I am looking for what Yashwant has written, no? Young minds, what they have written, I want to know.
Absolutely. So
Also, I recognize the presence of former chairman GSK, Dr. Dwarkanath is here. Great, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Great. I think we can start showing, okay? So that no people will get inspired. Oh, this is what required. Resilience. This is required. New age skill is resilience. Great. Technology. Paradox navigation, that ability to navigate, oh, wonderful, very good. Mind control skill, digital, new creativity, IoT, seat on the table. Great. So, come on, friends, we are so many of us, we should all participate and beat that previous number, no? The previous number was 22. Let's do more today. Because unless we tell what is required, so how will we expect academia, the skill development, training companies, corporate will help us? So as an individual, we must articulate what we want. What do you understand by new skills? Some more? Can we have some more? Yeah, wonderful. But the resilience is still on the top. Yeah.
Use of AI.
Resilience का हिंदी क्या होता है? मैंने किसी से पूछा, बोलता है निष्ठा बोलाओ. The निष्ठा. I mean the ability to get a bounce back, able to get a bounce, those kind of things. था से थर्मस वाला निष्ठा. Oh.
Okay.
I think Arjun, you have again beaten us. We have stopped at 19. My audience is not helping me. They stopped at 19. Is there an internet issue today?
No, I think
people are not able to log into menti.com and put that code 57626361. Biren Mishra raised hand. Okay, that's to take care. Yeah. Biren Mishra, you can, you want to unmute and say instead of typing here? Biren is from UK actually. Okay. Yeah, I'm reaching.
Sorry, I wasn't able to unmute because I think participant.
Participants are muted.
Right.
Do you want to add what new skill is required?
Well, having studying AI with Oxford, AI is actually the key thing, but then we would
AI is the
also
key
want,
thing. Okay.
Resilience, empathy, our attitude. We would want,
Okay.
I think,
Okay.
putting ourselves on the seat of the table, but I'll just
Yeah.
wait for everybody else to comment and not just take over.
Okay, no. We are not here. We are not asking people to speak now. Since you raised your hand, I thought you want to say instead of write. At this stage, we are writing. Okay,
Right.
Arjun?
So if you could just leave the chat enabled, so let us kind of have the participants to
Yeah,
put
chat
in
is
some of their
enabled.
thoughts.
Chat is enabled. Chat is enabled. You can write in the chat. Chat is enabled. Chat is enabled. You can write your comments. You can raise your questions. Chat is enabled. But if you ask a question, start with a capital Q. Okay, Arjun, over to you.
Okay, so I'm going to hand it over back to you.
Back. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So good. Thank you, audience. We got your way of looking at the new AI skills. And it is wrong that we should have 30, 40. No, I'm correcting myself. So not necessarily. Too few, focused, critical, we know. It's not necessarily to write 100. I was just only talking to participation. So limited, but very focused. So we will go to the academic panel now. The people from law experience, Mr. Bansal and Dr. Chaturvedi, a lot of experience, AICT, industry, administration, they are into different committees. They can represent the entire academic world and say, sir, in academic world, so what are we changing? Are you changing the pedagogy? Are we changing the courses? Are we offering different formats of courses? What is happening so that you are actually contributing to the talent development, because you produce the future managers, future leaders. So who wants to start? Mr. Bansal and Mr. Chaturvedi. Yeah, Dr. Chaturvedi.
I will always say Chaturvedi Sahab is senior in academics, so he has the first right always.
Senior और मथुरा क्या है?
मथुरा का तो चलो हम ना भी कहें, but academics में हम तो बिल्कुल नए हैं. Chaturvedi Sahab is a diggaz in that is stalwart, so
right, sir.
We have to follow him.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Chaturvedi, unmute, sir. Dr. Chaturvedi.
Thank you, Bansal Sahab. But your life experience is much more than me. So you are senior for.
Sir, दोनों मिलजुल के हाथ में लाएंगे तो काम चलेगा ना.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Sir, we got the best of the people now, actually.
So I'm speaking as a management educators, director of a B school, as well as I also belong to the community of B schools from India, which has been working together to face the challenges of last decade and also looking toward the future. I would like to say that since 2015, when World Economic Forum has started talking about Industry 4.0, these schools in India, leading these schools in India, I cannot say for all the B schools, they have started thinking about making changes in the curriculum and pedagogy so that the challenges of Industry 4.0 could be met by them. And this Industry 4.0 was not a one-day announcement by WEF. Actually, the disruptive technology of IoT and AI and 3D printing and virtual reality, all disruptive technologies based on exponential growth have been pushing the industrial sector around the world to drastically change the whole scenario in the industry. And now, after the COVID, I think this process has been accelerated. The pandemic has accelerated because it has changed the work, homes, society, culture, relationships. And by change, such a drastic change which comes into the global society after 100 years or so, and much more disruptive than the pandemic of 1990s and 1920. I think the COVID-20 has changed the scenario at the workplace, and it is forcing everything to change and to lead towards a metamorphosis. The third issue which these schools will be looking is that National Education Policy has been announced in July 2020, and it is going to decide how the talent will be groomed in our universities and colleges next 10, 15 years. Fourth, I would like to say that there will be a lot of mobility of talent, because the talent, there will be war for talent. Now the war will not be for the land or wealth, it will be talent, it will be a war for talent, and talented people have choices. And I can just quote a trend that many young and talented people are migrating to Canada, and Indian community is very strong in a developed country like Canada. And the fourth big change which is going to happen is the aging population, that the average age will reach to 90 or more than 90. And ultimately, people will have not single career, but 2 or 3 careers. They will leave one job, they will become obsolete, then they will develop skills and join the second job, and then they will start the third job or third career. So these are the most likely scenario. And I think these schools in India and worldwide, they are trying to reinvent the model of business education. And it has been said by many researchers and many authors in the field of HR that the future talent will be different from the talent developed during last 10, 20 years. Now by 2025, for next 5 years, the skill sets or talent required will need the talent like innovation, digital leadership, entrepreneurship, design thinking, global mindset, and lifelong learning. There can be debate about deleting or adding any other skill, but I would like to say that whatever we have been doing for last 10, 15 years, it is not going to help. So these schools have to change their curriculum and their pedagogy. BIMTech as a B school has changed a lot during last 5 years or so, but COVID has forced us to have a drastic shift towards online learning. So I think we are trying to change our curriculum. We are trying to align it with the requirement of the industry. And as I said that in future, our students will not only join Indian companies and they will go or migrate to other countries also. I think without reinventing curriculum and pedagogy, these schools cannot survive, and they cannot satisfy the needs of the recruiters in 21st century. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful, sir. It's a beautiful document on how education industry is getting ready to help the corporate world in meeting the talent development needs. Wonderful document, sir. Great insight. So we would like to go to Mr. Bansal. He has worked in the government. While in the government, he was in the corporate. Then he started his own education institute. Great, sir. Please add your value, sir.
Certainly, your question, Dr. G.P. Rao, is what exactly, how has COVID changed us, or what exactly was done during the COVID? I'll restrict to that, confine to that, because all other things have been already spoken by Dr. Chaturvedi and all other great stalwarts and panelists. So somehow or the other, I'll tell all the participants here, it's a matter of chance that throughout the career, I had the occasion to work with failed or the failing organizations. And I say that was a privilege. Of course, it was a very tough call every time when you got that posting. And you felt, why me? Why should I not be sitting in a cozy, comfortable chair, which has all the pluses over there? But then you felt extremely happy by end of 1.5 or 2 years, when you could turn around the things. And it happened in almost all the organizations. So one feels very happy that in the process, one learned a lot. Not that I had those skills, one learned the skills on the job, and that is what one has been trying to do as a part of the academia also. At New Delhi Institute of Management, which is a 29 years old B school now, it was founded on 10th of January 92. We got into digital sphere in a big way 6 years back. And that's one of the reasons that for the last 4 years, Government of India chose us for the Smart India Hackathon Grand Finale. At that time, it was a big question even by the board of directors that why are you getting into it? This is an engineering job and all other institutions are engineering institutions. Why should an MBA institute put money into this? And we felt that this was the future for the MBAs. And from there, I'm coming back to the COVID things. This is what helped us tremendously to not only cope up, but to come out big way during the pandemic times. When the lockdown was announced on 22nd of March, I suppose, from 24th of March, we were having our final examinations. So I'm very happy and very pleased to tell all the friends over here that we gave 3 days for the students to shift to their families, go back to their homes. I gave my own car for people going to the airport so that nobody has any trouble, had to speak to the police. And our exam started on 26th of March itself. We postponed the exams by 2 days. All our examination papers were converted to the digital format, to the online format. And exams are over on 12th of April. Since internships were now to happen online, so we decided we'll take time to look for the right internships. And our third semester studies started on 14th of April, when the entire country or the entire world was in the deepest pandemic. So I just want to say that pandemic or any other adverse situation has to be, of course, handled from 2 points of view. One is the safety, security, and mental well-being of all your employees, all your support people, all your team members, and all your students also. And then immediately you need to be going up. You need to know what exactly is the way forward. And you need to be putting 24/7 work to be successful into that. So I'm happy that in this pandemic times, we have been able to add 44 very senior people from the industry. Several of them CEOs, you can see on our website. I mean, there's nothing hidden about it. They have been added to our student mentoring team. They have decided to mentor our students. 17 very distinguished people from the academia have joined our academic council. So I always feel that when the times are adverse, you have to have a very united team. You need to communicate with your team 24/7. You need to care for the team and you will be the winners. So what you said, what new things we did. Earlier, digital marketing was being taught to only those students who were doing digital marketing as a specialization. So I felt that this will not do anymore. So we created a 40-hour module, and that was given essentially to all the students of all the specializations. That was an essential 3-credit course added on to the other courses. Similarly, on business analytics, data science, AI and ML, since we have an MBA specialization on that too, that earlier was being given only to the students who were taking that specialization. So that too, we expanded the scope of the faculty. That too was given to all the students of all the specializations. So these 2 things were done within 3 months of the lockdown in the online mode. And I'm extremely happy to tell you that this is given all the dividends. There was a question on the new age skills that we're talking about. So this is what was the need of the hour. This was the need of the industry. So all our faculty for first 30 days researched as to what industry would be looking for in the next 24 months. And those skills were identified, those skills were designed, and those skills were given in the first 3 months. So I need not keep speaking so much, but I'm just trying to tell you is that one, we need to know the way forward. And then I always believe that knowing alone is of no use. I'll just take that quote that just do it. So you just have to do it. That is all.
Thank you, Dr. Bansal, for a great share. And we are so happy that the educational institutions has not only taught people, has also taught them the skills to live, bounce back, and be resilient. And great shares. Thank you so much. So we will move on to our two friends from the skill development, skill training areas, both Arjun and Preetha. So we are at 6:30 now. We have to close at 7. We'll also have some audience questions. So this will be tough going now. Arjun, can you do one more thing in less than 3 minutes? An audience poll on online, because a lot of online things are happening, training, coaching, knowledge transfer. So are there any challenges? So we want to know before I go to Preetha and Arjun. So if there are no challenges, so there's no question to you. I want to know, are there any challenges in this online learning? Okay. Arjun, this time will be done in less than 3 minutes, the whole exercise. Start to finish.
So the question that you have up on the screen is challenges of online talent development. Please rank, these options, and we look.
Okay, they have to rank. Okay. So same, go menti.com 5762367. The code remains same.
Absolutely.
Oh. So they have to rank these 1 to 3, 1 to 6. Okay.
That's right.
Okay. So this 1 to 6, you are not prompting. This is just ad hoc 1 to 6. Huh?
This is ad hoc 1 to 6. See it change.
Oh, you are not prompting anything. Okay.
No.
You just put 6 things. Oh, okay. People started. Wonderful. Somebody has already ranked. Great.
The rankings will change in real time.
Yeah, somebody asked me whether the co-hosts can participate. Are they participating? Sometimes, the technology debars them from participating. I don't know.
Everyone can participate.
They cannot?
Everyone can.
Everyone can. Okay. Yeah. Everyone can, everyone will. Oh, this time, going. But only thing is you have to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. People are doing it. Great. Great. Yeah. Oh, a lot of nice colors. Ensuring continuity of learning. That's the top. It's coming. Okay. Tech fluency, participants' tech fluency is important. Ability to assess. Okay. Availability of trainers is not an issue in India, at least. That's coming out. 6th. Trainers are available. Content is also, content is now going up. But continuity of learning, the tenacity, that is a big challenge. That's coming out very strong. 3 hours, 2 hours, that continuity. And tech fluency, because we have got large blue collar, logistics companies, the e-commerce companies, all those companies having tech fluency across participants. I'm only assuming that we are all tech fluent. We may not be. So more agile way of working. Very good. You have beaten the 22 mark this time. Make it 23 and stop. Okay, we'll take one more and stop. One more participant, can you help us with your inputs? Anyone? 91 of us there. Can one person oblige us with his inputs to beat Arjun? One participant, please help me with your inputs. No. I think this 22 is a common figure. Same 22 people have downloaded menti.com. 23, done. Oh, done. Wonderful. Okay, friends, you will now see that ensuring continuity of learning, the tech fluency across participant, the agile working, these are the challenges in the online. So we'll discuss as you proceed. So I will now go to Preetha and Arjun. Arjun, I will go to Preetha first. So Preetha, your question to is, are you changing the bouquet of skills because you know the skills? How are you shifting to the online? Are you doing anything around upskilling? So you can represent that skill development world and answer.
Yeah. So firstly, thank you, GP. And I was listening to everybody and I'm thinking, I represent a completely different world. I represent the world that's the bottom of the pyramid. During the lockdown, about 80 to 100 million informal workers lost their jobs. 21 million salaried workers lost their jobs. Enormous industries which were actually employing blue-collared workers, that's construction, that's retail, that's hospitality, have shut down. Jobs are difficult, and it's going to be tough for a very long while. We skill about 80,000 youth a year, all from the blue-collared, all vulnerable. We skill in schools and colleges, we skill in independent training centers, we skill in projects, and we skill across the country. So one of the first few things was, what is it that we do which allows that these people not just be trainable, but also employable? So what kind of skills exist? That's one part. And of course, for the last 8 months, that's from April to about November, because of lockdown in several parts of the country, we weren't even allowed to have training centers. Online was a pivot. Online was something that one had to do almost overnight without having, and I was just kind of seeing the top rank which says continuity of learning. For us, it meant completely different things. The youth, the students that we train do not even have access to a mobile phone. If there is a mobile phone, there is somebody in the family who has it, and it's not necessarily available for learning. Even if they have that mobile phone, it is not smart enabled. My trainers are not able to immediately kind of start doing online. I think Sanjay mentioned that he learned how to do Zoom, mute and unmute. We hadn't heard the word Zoom. And even if we kind of provided trainers with that option, how do they quickly start training? How do you engage a learner, a youth sitting in a village or in a rural area or in an urban town, on training material which is actually meant for classroom? It's completely different. That content cannot suddenly be comparable or completely be enabled for online learning. So yes, that was the second part. So what we did, and this is the kind of way forward for us. One is, of course, that a new bouquet of skills have opened up. And these are things which can probably provide opportunity for employment. One is like breaking up the traditional skills. So of course, if retail, hospitality, these are the areas which were actually employing more labor. It's now logistics. It's more vocal for local. So a lot of opportunities, a lot of skills that we are providing is what is specific to a district, specific to a particular area. UP, for example, is pushing ODOP, which is one district, one product. And there's a lot of incentive for that. So that's one, which requires a lot of industry participation at a local level. The second is micro-entrepreneurship. And so that requires that youth are provided entrepreneurship inputs, hand-holding in terms of how do you prepare a business plan, how do you set up a business. There's a lot of government incentive, loans, etc., that is available. It's not easy, it's tough. So the skill sets that our trainers have to and are being provided is how do you get youth to become micro-entrepreneurs. In terms of what skills that we believe are required at this level, and that's become a part of all our program, is, and I was very, very pleased to see that word came out top, is resilience. It's an enormously important skill at this point of time, and it means several things. It's not just about having optimism. It's also about having the mental toughness. During the lockdown, for example, with so many people out of jobs and so many of our own participants and students, families in trouble, we set up a hotline, a call center, providing emotional and mental support. And to 10,500 families, we provided just the ability to listen to what they are going through. So resilience is an important one. So I'll say these are the kind of things. The challenge in online is content. The challenge is continuity of learning from an access and logistics point of view, as well as the trainer to make it engaging. We've broken down some of our programs into smaller ones. For example, a beauty program, which is an employable skill. So we now provide micro courses, nail art, hair, just finger art, short courses, which are sometimes priced at very, very low price points, so that you are able to at least go out and do something. 99 rupees for 99 minutes, for example. So my world is completely different, and I believe that corporate, industry, academia have to come forward to support this, because this is an enormously national level, of course, globally, but this is a challenge, and we'll have to come and support so many millions who've lost their jobs and livelihoods and will face a trouble going forward as well. So.
Thank you, Preeta. Thank you. Now, Arjun, your last words on how the learning and development companies are coping up with this issue of upskilling online, bouquet of skills, your inputs.
Right, I'm not going to hold it only to companies and academia. Actually, I'll include individuals as well.
Okay.
Dr. Rao, I'm going to start with a interesting anecdote, and this is a true story, so just bear with me. So I heard what everybody said about the different skills that we require. I think one of the most important skills that we require today is how to make new friends. Okay, you heard me right. How to make new friends. And friends I'm talking about right now are machines and robots. Okay, so how do you coexist with machines and robots and work with them and create more? So I'm going to actually share a little story. I was invited to meet a 78-year-old gentleman. And so I called him and I said, I'm going to come and meet you. So he said, I'm going to come and pick you up. And when he came in his car, and the first thing he said, the car said, "Welcome, Arjun." And then it said, "Open the sunroof." And then it said, pull down the window, and everything was voice enabled. So you had machine learning, you had AI, you had IoT, all playing at the same time within a car. Then when we reached the house, he actually pulled out his phone and he says, "Arjun is coming up." And when I walked towards the gate, the artificial intelligence with the camera, which had machine vision, that opened the door, and I walked in, and there were 6 Alexas all around the house, which orchestrated the music that I liked, and even even the welcome note was different. In fact, Alexa's controlled the entire house lighting. Now that's a 78-year-old gentleman doing that. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So I asked him. I said, where did you learn this? He said, there is this program by the government. It's called Future Skills Prime. And that's the program that we are running for the government and with the government. And it's completely free right now. So all of what you're saying, all of whatever some people have said on the program today is there part of this portal. And I'm going to take a minute to just show everybody where and how everybody, whether you're an individual or you're a corporate, can actually learn the skills that we're talking about. So I'm going to first share, the link for everybody to click on. And so the link is there, as well as I'm just going to share my screen and show you where you can all log in and learn for free. So right there, you need to, if you can see my screen right here, you need to go to futureskillsprime.in. That's the website, which will tell you this is a MIGHTY and NASSCOM Digital Skilling Initiative, which is driven by the government. It's industry-led and government approved. You can press sign up, and the moment you press sign up, you'll land here. And all the emerging technologies which you all spoke about is out right here. So you have artificial intelligence, augmented reality, big data analytics, blockchain, cloud computing, cybersecurity, Internet of Things, robotic process automation, 3D printing, and web and mobile development and marketing. And we even have the professional skills, which is going to drive the future of work. So all of what we discuss: collaboration and teamwork, creative problem solving, continuous learning, digital leadership, effective communication, influencing and negotiation, innovation and design thinking, product management, program management, and project management. Now, all you need to do is really come here and sign up. And, so I'm going to take a minute more just to talk about, what is it that EdCast does. EdCast is mass personalization at scale. So when a learner wants to learn, all he needs to do is put his interest down, and the content related to what he likes to learn begins to show up. That's, mass personalization. Back to you, Dr. Rao.
Oh, thank you so much. A great new word, mass personalization. Oh, wonderful. Great. I think we will stop here from the panel's share, and we will request them to answer what the audience want to know more. So what I'll do is, there are many questions, but then we can take few, like I give preference to someone who has come all the way from London, Biren. He wants to know, how have you leveraged data integration from multiple IoT platforms to drive your talent developmental strategy? Question is, there are multiple IoT platforms are there, how you have leveraged data integration from those to drive your talent development strategy? So anyone from the corporate wants to answer this question from Biren Mishra?
Dr. Rao, can I take this?
Yes, Chandan, yeah.
Right. Hi, Biren. A very good morning to you in London. For us, I just give you a quick example how we have managed this data integration. So for example, we being a very diverse organization with diverse businesses, and as I initially said, we have 7 businesses. So for all the 7 businesses, we have very different competency frameworks. And now within the business also, for different verticals, also we have defined different competencies that are required at various levels. Now, when we are, and you see, in the flexible packaging industry, we are just a 3-decade-old industry in India. And hence, we being the largest in India, talent is very, very difficult to get for certain positions, and especially for those kind of roles where we are getting people to superannuate. And hence, we are trying to capture the data from the competency platform that we use, and it's integrated with Oracle. And then from there, we are using that data by our training and development team to make sure that what are the kind of development programs that we need to run. So we run various programs for us. Something we run in India is called Precision, and something we run globally is called Foster. And these programs typically involve technical ingredients as well as behavioral as well, but largely is technical. And so we have been using this. So that's how we try to integrate. I mean, this is a very small example I'm giving you, but we do in other areas as well. But this is something that we have been very successfully doing.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, his question to the academic panelist is, how are you developing inclusive mindset? How to make new friends? Arjun said that is a new seat required. Are you doing something at the education level itself? Dr. Chaturvedi and Dr. Bansal. Inclusive mindset. How to make new friends? Are you teaching this or helping students to acquire this?
I think this is a very important skill required from the future leaders and managers. My institute has been offering a course on responsible management, and we are
Wonderful.
teaching CSR, sustainability, and ethical issues. And since our campus is a residential campus, so students are living in a cluster of 4, and they are also working in groups. And the course on leadership we have introduced, that is an experiential course. So every activity in the institute, activity related to sports, culture, clubs, etc., they have to participate, and their participation and their involvement in teamwork is evaluated by the faculty. Dr. Mansi Chaudhary, who's attending this program, she has been leading this initiative for last 5 years. So it is very good method to impart team building and leadership skills to the students, and they also make friends in the residential campus because they belong to different parts of the country, and we encourage that we should appreciate the diversity, and we should not confine to our own cultural region. We should try to know the culture of other regions in India, and also the foreign exchange of students is also helping us to make them aware about making friends and knowing the other people who are not similar to us.
Great, sir. Thank you. Dr. Bansal, there's one question is, what are the soft skills very, very important in your mind?
First of all, the previous question, that's also very important.
Yeah, that's also a soft skill actually.
Yeah, in addition to what Chaturvedi ji has said, we have fully functional 21 clubs.
21 clubs.
21 clubs, yes. And each club does at least 2 activities every month. You would say, फिर बच्चे पढ़ाई कब करते होंगे? Okay, so it's like that. And they create a booklet, and they all work in a team, and online is a big advantage. Even I have been meeting those 100, 200 students every time they do an event. So they are all the time together. Number 2, when the sections are created for the students, we try to see that students from different cities, different states, they are put into one section. That's number 2. So all that effort is there all the time. Kindly repeat your question. I'm in the process, just missed out.
No. I mean, according to what is the most important soft skill people should acquire before going to the corporate?
They just need to understand what you may call it a soft skill. Soft skill basically is they need to be soft, okay. But otherwise, I always say that they need to understand what the other person is looking for.
Okay.
Most of the time, they just tell what they have. They do not try to assess what the other person is asking for.
Okay. Right. Thank you. Preeta, quick answer. Are you also teaching how to make new friends, how to be inclusive when they come to the skill development centers?
Absolutely. Inclusiveness is absolutely required, and especially in the country today with so much of sensitive issues. Absolutely.
Okay, Pradhiman, the question from a professor, Professor Manasi, when they come to the industry, are you taking care of the agility and resilience, or are you just leaving to the academic institutes? Agility and resilience. Pradhiman, you are there? You have to unmute, Pradhiman. Unmute.
Yes, and definitely it's a responsibility of the leadership. See, agility and is out of the environment we provide to them. We allow them to make mistakes. We allow them to be part of the big picture, and we allow them to put their thoughts, collaborate with each other. So definitely the leadership has the responsibility to create that mindset of agile mindset, I will say.
But anyway, Manasi didn't say that, are you leaving it to academic institute? I added, she didn't say, just she asked. Okay. One question from Tanu. This is a general question. Are you recruiting people from different industries if one wants to change? Are you say tier 2, tier industry only? What is happening in the industry? Anyone wants to answer this question? Are you
Let me give my experience while I was working with JK Tyre. See, it was always good to bring people out of industry. Although the functional people, they always said that they will require people experience from tire. But my experience is, if you bring people from different industries, they bring different, more fresh perspective to the business.
Okay, great. Arjun, there is a question from Pritima ji. What best practices are required for online performance reviews? In your bouquet of courses, is there a course online performance reviews?
Yeah, so online performance reviews are done using different assessment tools, which are even part of our platform. So in fact, being an aggregator or aggregators, you're most welcome to come and
Okay.
see. And this is all free. So Metal, Aspiring Minds, and all are great tools.
Okay, you are doing. Now, the difficult part is conducting difficult reviews for low performers. Does it also take care of that?
Oh, okay. So yeah, well, this particular platform doesn't, but when we actually roll out online learning for different organizations, of course, whatever the need for the organization, and a lot of the organizations do ask that how do we do reviews for our managers.
Wonderful. Chandan bhai, you are a cool guy. You have to answer this question. Hamara bhai Anil पूछ रहा है. We all talk about talent development, caring for people, but how to align people with business priorities in this real VUCA world? Business का क्या होगा?
Business का क्या होगा?
हाँ पूछ रहे हो. How do we align people with business priorities? खाली caring, talent development नहीं चलेगा.
I think people are very smart these days, you know. They are, I mean, I can tell you my experience that we have sent people from India to our global locations, and they're very young, and they're very young people with not much of experience. And we have just done basic handholding at those locations, and they've done wonders for us. So I think what is very critical is handholding and clear communication and messaging. I think some part of the agility has to be brought by one individual himself as well. So I believe that people these days are smart, and if you are able to communicate and handhold properly, I think at least my experience of the last 8 months it's an eye opener. They can actually do wonders for you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Looking at the watch, we'll have to wind up somewhere. I know it can continue for some more time. So I am supposed to sum it up. I mean, what do I sum up? A lot of good ideas have come from industry panel, academic panel, the talent development panel, and we are now clear what new age skills are required, and we're all coping with us. I think we'll catch up. India is a large country, numbers are there, but skills have to be upskilled. Upskilling is the call. Digitalization is the call. And this inclusiveness in the call and mass personalization is a call that is coming. So quickly, if you have to write down the takeaways, I am supposed to tell what are the typical takeaways. So I will request Vice Chairman of ISTD, Mr. D.V. Shastri sir, to get ready with the vote of thanks. While he gets ready and before he starts, can you all write down in the chat box one takeaway from your side? So there are so many people. Please write down that. We'll collate the takeaways and then we'll publish takeaways in the chat box. And in the meanwhile, I'll request D.V. Shastri Garu to get ready and give a vote of thanks.
Yes,
so that
I'm ready.
We finish on time.
Yes, Rao Garu, I'm ready.
Yes, sir. हमको आपको भी गारू बोल दिया हमने.
Yes, I understand what Garu means.
Right, sir. It's over to you. Over to you. IT, can you have the slide on Mr. Shastri? Yeah. And audience, you please write down your takeaways.
So it was indeed a powerful session. In fact, perhaps this is the best format in which the various eminent speakers share their practical views. Experiential learning is most powerful learning. So we got so many insights into the subject matter from the eminent panelists. I would like to put on record my own sincere thanks and thanks on behalf of the managing committee headed by our chapter chairman, Mr. Mukesh Jain, along with honorary secretary, members D. Sucharita ji and our program coordinator Pritima ji. So first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Harivansh Chaturvedi ji from BIMTech, Vishmohan Bansal ji, my dear friend Sanjay Kumar Bose ji, Chandan Chattaraj ji, Madam Harpreet Datta, Pritha Datta ji, Pradyumna Pandey ji, and Mr. Arjun Khanna. All were superb in contributing to this vibrant discussion, which has so many takeaways. There is not one or two, but many takeaways from it. So we are really thankful to each one of you for having you spared your valuable time to share your views on this forum of ISTD Delhi chapter. And above all, I am also very happy to express my sincere thanks to Dr. G.P. Rao, who has wonderfully moderated the entire session, and that added a special flavor to the whole panel discussion. I will be failing in my duty if I do not thank the dignitaries like Dr. Yogesh Upadhyay, Dwarkanath ji, Professor Benwet, who took their time to be online as a participant in this session. Then other friends like R.S. Dabas ji, Madam Vidya Iyer, Ravi Ojha ji, my dear colleagues, Dr. Vel Murugan, Dr. Ashish Srivastav, Yashwant Chauhan, and all other participants who really invested. I never say that they spared their time, but they have invested their time for participating in such a discussion. In fact, there is no harm in sharing that I am on the grand jury of FICCI Higher Education Excellence Awards. So there also the key point came up that we should be inclusive. All universities or all higher education institutions are doing things and they are putting same things. But as Shiv Kheda said, winners don't do different things. They do things differently. So that is what the key word or the key takeaway from this session is. That yes, all of us do the same thing, but we have to do something differently to stand out among the crowd. So this is how it is, and all other good things have been said by the panelists. So with these words, I express my sincere thanks and gratitude to the eminent panelists and all the participants, and a grand applause to Dr. G.P. Rao.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. IT, now you can make it unmute easy. Anyone can unmute and speak.
Sir, Dr. Rao, I
yeah.
would like to speak for 1 minute.
Yes, sir, please.
Let me thank Mr. D.V. Sastry for a wonderful vote of thanks.
Oh,
We
okay.
will
I
meet
didn't know
next
this.
week. We'll meet next week again on 5th of February. Dr. Sunil Abrol will be our speaker.
Okay.
Golden Jubilee Year Evening Lecture Series
Next
by
week.
the member, for the member, and
Wonderful.
our national past president, Dr. Sunil Abrol will be there on 5th at 6 o'clock. So
Great,
please
sir.
block your date for ISTD Delhi chapter. Thank you so
I
much.
request all of you to attend and pass on this information. Thank you so much. So now IT, you can unmute everyone. So let's have some informal open networking. The session is over. I never knew there's